Hi guys, welcome to another Draw With Me video. This time I decided to go with a voiceover, and as you can see I'm super awkward here because this is the first time I'm doing a voiceover, but yeah, let's do this. So a while ago I made this little witchy paper doll which I thought was super cute and fun to make, and I wanted to make a few more. It has these little sticky things on the back because it's currently living on the wall near my desk. And yeah, this is a nice opportunity to show you how I make my dolls and maybe inspire you in some way if you're thinking of making your own dolls. So I've already done a sketch for the doll we are going to make, and I'm going to trace it to the final artboard now. And for this I like to use little pieces of tape to keep the paper in place on the light box because it helps a lot not having everything moving around. This is the paper I'll be using. It's from a Portuguese brand, Papelaria Fernandes. This type of paper is called papel cavalinho, which in English would be something like little horse paper. And I think everyone here knows this paper because when we were kids and had art classes in school, the teachers would tell us to get this paper because it was cheap and the quality was also really nice. And recently I've discovered that it's really cool for markers because it doesn't bleed a lot, but still has a little bit of texture to it, which is great if you're also using colored pencils and any pencils in general. So here I'm using a light box which was made by my dad because he also loves all crafty things. And yeah, with this you don't need to get a super expensive light box, and you can even learn to make your own. I never leave my room completely dark because once in a while when I'm tracing I like to turn the light box off so that I can see better how it's looking on the paper without having all these lines underneath. And also when you're making a paper doll and you'll have different parts, it's really useful if you sketch with different colors so that you can see which part you'll need to trace each time. This is how it looks after I've traced all the pieces, and now I'm going to ink it, and then yeah, it will be ready to be colored. So I've inked everything and erased the pencil lines, and it's ready to be colored. This is the color scheme I'll be using because she's one of my original characters. She is a little witch who has a pigeon as a pet. So I always like to begin with the skin. I don't know why, for some reason I just love all the skin tones, and it's really fun and relaxing to paint. So as you can see, the markers have this little and really nice texture, which I totally love. The brown that I used previously was a little bit too cold, so I'm going over with a more red-ish brown, so that skin looks a little more appealing and more realistic too. For the hair, I'm going with a darker brown, and it's kind of a personal thing, but I always like to leave some areas white, so this way the hair looks a bit more shiny. For large areas, I always like to use the wide nib of the copic markers, because it's easier to paint and also will leave the colors a lot more uniform. For the blush and shadows, I like to use colored pencils, and this paper is really nice because it works amazingly with copic markers, but still has a bit of texture to it, so it will work wonderfully with your pencils too. So this is how the final illustration looks. I still have to add a few highlights with white gouache, but yeah, it's ready to be scanned. This is the new printer that I'm using because my old HP broke a few months ago, and I had to get this all-in-one by Canon, and the quality is amazing. I will leave the model in the description below in case you're interested. And yeah, after scanning and editing in Photoshop, our paper doll is ready to be printed. And as you can see, in the original illustration, the colors were a bit darker because my printer likes to leave this yellowish tone to everything. But yeah, most of the times it's cool. And now the fun part. So I cut all the pieces, and I like to leave a bit of a white border because it's easier to cut this way. And I also make a few extra cuts on the hands and on some parts to make everything fit nicely. These extra cuts are also included with the instructions when you download the doll from my Gumroad. As I'm cutting the pieces, I like to start dressing up my doll, and it's looking super cute. And to help keep the pieces in place, I add a few pieces of tape on the back to stick the tabs to the main body. And yeah, you really need to do that because, for example, the broom won't stand on its own. So this is how our doll looks. I think it looks super cute, and the process was also really fun. I will leave the link in the description below so that you can download, print, and then make your own paper doll too. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and excuse if I was a bit awkward, but yeah, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And yeah, bye bye.